Well, friends of the world, Madrid, from here, from the back of the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium, it's a great place to record my notes on this Real Madrid 5 Salzburg 1 match. We're only going to focus on Real Madrid's notes. Let's give Salzburg some credit. You'll see they had a pretty good first few minutes, but in the end, the team clearly succumbed. I have here, you know that Oppo is the official sponsor of the Champions League, and it's the official phone of match day, even more than the iPhone. I have here the Oppo Find X8 Pro, which is a real spectacle. I'm going to show it to you. Look at the camera it has. You know they sponsor these Champions League videos, right? For all of you, Oppo, here we have it. It's exactly 2344. When I'm recording the video, there you have it. Well, the cameras are a real spectacle, and we're going to analyze them one by one with our friends from Oppo. The players of Real Madrid in this Real Madrid 5, Salzburg 1. All right, let's go. Well, guys, before we get to the notes, let's also rate this Oppo Find X8 Pro, and it's going to get top marks. I'm telling you, because it's an amazing phone. It's the official matchday phone for the Champions League, more than the iPhone. Let's get to the ratings, come on. The battery, what score should we give the battery? It lasts more than a day, and on top of that, you can charge it in 15 minutes. It's spectacular. Another 10. And the processor? The processor, you're putting in the MediaTek Dimensity processor. I've tried it, and it's impressive. Another 10, another 10. Well, you already know. The Oppo Find X8 Pro is timed at 10, just like the champions. A true 10. All right, let's go. Friends from Mundo Maldini, let's break down this 5-1 player by player. Let's start with Thibaut Courtois. I have to hurry because they're going to turn off the lights soon. I'm one of the last to leave the Bernabeu. People remain here, fixing the field, etc., etc. Planting. Well, Thibaut Courtois, the truth is he hardly had any work to do. He practically had no work at all. He couldn't do anything at all on the goal. A shot from close range. Honestly, in the first few minutes, Salzburg got a bit closer with some danger. I'm going to give him a 6. 6. The little he had to intervene, I think he did well. And I said nothing he could do about Salzburg's goal. A 6 for Thibaut Courtois. Fede Valverde, who played as a right back, although you'll see that he ended the match a good stretch of the game towards the end as a midfielder, but he was a right back for practically most of the match. At least when the match was still up for grabs, it was about to break open. It's just not his position. I thought it was a pretty mediocre match from Valverde. He hasn't contributed much to the attack. He hasn't had much impact on Madrid's offensive play. He hasn't suffered much defensively either, although Salzburg attacked more in the first few minutes. I'm going to give him a 5.5. Honestly, it doesn't give me more. A 5.5 for the Uruguayan. To talk about Fede Valverde, by the way, I saw before the match started when we were doing the pre-game. That was 2 people, one with a national flag and the other with a Peñarol flag. The 2 of them together. Of course, Valverde is from Peñarol, as we all know. Asensio. He played as a center-back, but he ended the match as a right-back. He has been good. He has been very solid. The truth is, he's earning his spot as a starter at Real Madrid. I get the feeling good at intercepting without making mistakes. There have been a couple of plays where he hasn't had the drive he had on the day against Celta, where he committed a pretty avoidable penalty. So pretty good. 6.5. Not much more because Salzburg, except for the first 20 minutes, pressed and caused problems. So a 6.5 for Asensio. Rudiger, good as well, but just like Asensio. I'm going to give Rudiger a slightly lower score because he had to participate even a little less than Asensio. In attack, he hardly got involved. So a 6 for Rudiger, who didn't suffer at all, obviously. A 6 for him. Mendy is one of the players I like the least from Real Madrid. Honestly, he hasn't contributed much from the left wing. He hasn't contributed much to the attack. I saw him as quite timid in attack, and defensively he hardly suffered at all. For me, a 5.5 for Mendy. Now let's analyze a few more players in more depth. Of course, for example, Dani Ceballos. I like Dani Ceballos' game. He worked quite well, even in recovery. He has provided the team with an outlet from the midfield in the moments when Madrid was suffering the most at the beginning, at least from Salzburg's siege. He was able to keep the ball and was the one who, along with Bellingham, a little bit of calm, and with Luka Modric. Good game from Ceballos. Let's see if he starts getting more minutes. I think he needs to have more minutes at Real Madrid. By the way, Tchouaméni hasn't played a single minute. Let's talk about Luka Modric. Good game from the Croatian Luka Modric. He made a really good pass into space, which ended up being a goal for Vinicius. He played the whole match with quite a bit of calm. It hasn't been a match with a lot of pace, and that logically benefits him. But for me, it was a good game from Luka Modric, showing that he can play many matches and that he will play many matches at Real Madrid. For me, a 7, friends from around the world. Maldini to Luka Modric. Jude Bellingham. It has been at times, it has been a showcase by Jude Bellingham. It's true that the opponent was who they were. They weren't a strong rival. It wasn't a match with a lot of intensity, but I liked it a lot. Jude Bellingham, I know he didn't score. I know that in the end he made an exceptional assist. With a back heel to Rodrygo, that assist was absolutely exceptional. It was probably the best part of the whole match. That back heel pass from Jude Bellingham to Rodrygo, the goal was impressive, and I really liked it, honestly. Jude Bellingham, I said in the preview that he's a complete midfielder. He plays in all areas of the midfield. In all areas of the midfield, he's decisive. Jude Bellingham, great game from Bellingham for me, outstanding for me, and outstanding for Jude Bellingham. Let's not forget that Madrid scored 5 goals. In the end, he could have scored a few more. Vinicius, a modest first half, but a very good second half from Vinicius with 2 goals. 2 beautifully crafted goals. Does it deserve an outstanding? A player who was very good in the second half but was practically invisible in the first half. Does it deserve an outstanding grade? Well, that's the big question. I'm going to give him a 9, I'm going to give him a 9, I'm going to give him an outstanding grade. In the end, he scores 2 goals and 2 really good goals. I think in the end it's true that those are 2 goals with the match practically decided. But I think he deserves a 9 for me. A 9 for Vinicius. And let's move on to Rodrygo. I say the same thing, a very good first half with 2 goals, the first 2 goals of the match, which surely have more value. No, surely not. They have more value than Vinicius' 2 goals. Beautifully crafted, especially the second one with a fantastic strike. And in the second half, Rodrygo's performance dropped quite a bit. Gonna give him another 9. They end up with a 9, Bellingham, Vinicius and Rodrygo. In the end, Madrid scored 5 goals. No, we have to take that into account. A 9 for Rodrygo. And Kylian Mbappé has been below the level of these 3 today. He has been below his level. He scored a goal that is a serious mistake by the goalkeeper from Salzburg. He scored a goal, but that's true. I think friends word Maldini, he has some good dribbles, a few good plays, some of his sprints from the midfield to the attack, but we've seen a Mbappé that reminds us of the match the other day against Las Palmas. It was an exhibition in the first half, but Mbappé in a slightly lower tone, which isn't surprising. Obviously, he's not going to play like he did the other day against Las Palmas all the time. For me, a 7.5 for Mbappé, 7.5 for Kylian Mbappé. And we have Alava left. Let's see. They are players who come in when the game is already decided. And Alava has had 25 minutes to keep getting some more match practice. 5-on-5 for Alava. Arda Güler, I'm going to give him a little more. I'm going to give him a 6 because he participated a lot in attacking plays. He's playing inside, behind the striker. Hendrik, well, he practically hasn't touched the ball since he came on. I'm not going to fail him because the game was already decided. But a 5 for Hendrik, he doesn't give me more. Brahim, well, another 5 for Brahim because they are players who come in when the game is completely decided. So a 5 for Brahim. And for Jacobo, we're going to give him another 5, even though he plays very few minutes. We're not going to rate Jacobo. Jacobo doesn't get a rating because he hardly plays. For a match, I insist, absolutely decided. If you hear any noise, it's because they're mowing the grass at the Santiago Bernabeu. I'm going to show you. I'm show you them. Let's stand up a bit and I'll show you how they're watering the grass at the Santiago Bernabeu to wrap things up. Here you have it. There they are, mowing the grass from the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium. And with this shot, let's wrap up by talking about Carlo Ancelotti. By the way, the stadium here, well, it's amazing. The grass remains absolutely spotless after the match. And Carlo Ancelotti, well, it was Carlo Ancelotti's approach. I think it was logical. He left Tchouaméni out. Madrid played well. In the first few minutes, they struggled, but they were clearly superior. I think the changes were logical to give some rest and to give minutes to players like Arda Güler, Hendrik, and especially Alava. So I'm going to give him a 6, just a decent score, nothing more. A decent score, nothing more for Carlo Ancelotti. From here, friends of Mundo Maldini from the Santiago Bernabeu, watching how they're cutting the grass, the workers. There it is with the little noise included. A hug, bye.